Hi, welcome back channel, Train Station 2. Alright, got second in this second competition, probably lose to a gem spender. Alright, so this is the start of the second competition itself. And as usual, EP hit start is important. I always focus in making sure we have a good number of EP hit start. I'm going to show you very quickly the amount of EP we have get from this EP hit start. So by not collecting the 3 jobs you completed, and then when you collect them when you enter into the competition itself, this only warrants you if you are entering the second onwards. Alright, so the first one doesn't work that way. Alright, so very familiar face there. The first one that is in the ranking chart is a very strong competitor, and definitely, I guess, gem spender, because always in Train Station 2, I met this guy, and most of the time he wins. And his number of EP that he gains within a short period of time is amazing. So there's really a high chance he's a very strong gem spender, and Pixel Federation will love him, right? So unfortunately, there, very stark difference compared to the rest of the team. But more to that probably at the end of the video, you can see what I meant. All right, so a lot of these event items I prepared beforehand, but again, the number they're asking is really huge. Very unlike the earlier events you've played if you've been playing Train Station 2 for a long time. Nowadays, the quantity they're asking for is really huge. That makes me sometimes puzzled. I mean, how many do we need to prepare? Is it in the thousands? So if you're prepared near to 1,000, that probably survive for 1.5 or maximum 2 rounds, and that's it. But we have limited warehouse spaces, so Pixel Federation is just making us go crazy over that. Right, so just remember this, in the event map itself, there are sometimes you can collect some prize, very small, tiny amount, like 1 or 2 or 3 at most, of those parts or items of the raw materials that Pixel Federation gave. It is like that. I mean, you can remember this when Pixel Federation gives you free stuff like gems. They give you 1 gem for a very long 30 seconds video, or when you click on those exclamation mark, they give you 2 items or 3 items at max. This is how stingy Pixel Federation is. But when they request you to deliver, be it to the greedy captain, alright, this is the guy I'm talking about, the one in the first, right? So, you'd be surprised the fact that he is at the start of a new region, but yet he's going so fast. So that's something not right, alright? So, back to Pixel Federation, as usual, I gotta say this again. Stingy is a common thing for Pixel Federation. To don't expect things from them generously. They used to give, I mentioned in the other video, birthday trains, but no longer. They used to give a lot of those coin packs. Or unlimited coin packs to be exchanged during events, no longer. They kept it to 10. They also ask you for a lot of blue maps, and what maps they require for building upgrade when they give you is very tiny. So everything is pointing towards revenue generation. That is the fact whereby more and more players are coming on board, and Pixel Federation has already done their marketing, and with that they are starting to claw back in terms of their marketing expenses by making things tough, so that we will be tricked into spending real money. But don't fall for the trick, because generally, I gotta say this, Train Station 2 is just a game. If you don't incur any cent at all, or 0 cents like me, then you wouldn't be too worried about it. The fact that you may lose interest in the game one day and not play at all. So my advocate really is towards free to play. The importance of free to play is also checked against this greedy developers. So when you have gathered a good number of players, definitely they'll change the game to make it tougher, so you spend. By not spending, that is also one way to balance that out. So I hope you join me by being a free to play. So of course, if you really enjoy the game, you don't mind spending a couple of dollars, go ahead. If that makes you happy, that's more important. In terms of Train Station 2, how do you play like a free to play and yet still win competition? So that's the common question I've been hearing or being asked upon. I'll always say this: is planning, and of course, how do I work with a small warehouse. So I always urge people, don't spend gems unnecessarily. Only spend gems to upgrade all your factories before you start spending gems in the event. So those factories will act as your interim warehousing, or the extra warehousing you can call it. In terms of planning, you really have to make sure all your factories are filled to the brim in terms of the input and output tray. The output tray having all the very long manufacturing time items all laid out, ready to be collected, probably 1.5 hours or so. And whereas those input trays is basically raw materials can convert back and get back to them to, for your other purposes. Like for example, you need wood, then jolly well you have that in the raw material entry input tray. When you cancel that job, you get back wood itself. All right, so that's how it works out. So of course, in terms of every hour, you could set a timer, sort of stuff that you can actually remind yourself to go in. Then of course, the other way you're going to say is you're going to use that every couple of hours, the free dispatcher. The free dispatcher comes for just an hour, but they're strict to using it for 2 hours. One, if you're constantly on the game, you can keep on using him to collect stuff only at the last moment, just before the expiry of 1 hour, like 58 minutes or so, send him out. So basically using him for 2 hours. The other way of using him is basically send all your dispatchers out, and 5 minutes later watch that video, and once he comes on board, send him out. And 1 hour later, or 55 minutes to be exact, the other dispatchers comes back, but that one that is free, 5 minutes apart. You basically got to wait till less than a minute, send one gem in to recall him back, and then quickly send it out again. So in that context, by spending one gem, you're getting another dispatcher for 1 hour. So generally how does you work for the resource itself. But of course, upgrading trains is important. Always upgrade the event trains to 80 capacity, so you can get maximum gold every couple of hours, maximum delivery of items during competitions or collection of raw materials as well. Different train types is important. I'll urge you not to really sell all your duplicates. Keep some of them. So generally, when you have those duplicate trains, you keep on upgrading. Sometimes, when the engine type being asked upon is specific, example electric, and then a certain region like region 9, then you'll be faced with a tough choice. And of course, the couple with even triple restriction toughness of a rare train, then if you do not have duplicates of those, you will suffer tremendously. Imagine you only have one train of that engine type, then you will basically be losing. So I'll urge you, if you could afford it, save a couple of duplicates, upgrade them if possible. Rare train is always the tricky one. Common train will be another one, because for epic and legendary, they're high capacity to start with, so it's not that bad. But imagine having to struggle with just one common train of 4 capacity. I think that would drive you crazy, and you can't cancel job sometimes. So this is generally how you work out things in terms of resource. I've mentioned about dispatchers as well, just to mention at the midpoint. There's a way that you can get another dispatcher, probably at the for me with like 650, I got another one. 750 will be another one. So at the level of 650, I just could concentrate to get that dispatcher out by using resource, i.e. a specific type of manufactured goods. So if that, I can claim that additional dispatcher. That would go a long way. Of course, if you have gems to spare, there are 2 options. One is to get a day dispatcher, or you get a week dispatcher. So that's your choice. Of course, if you measure, definitely the week is cheaper generally, but it again depends on how you play. As I usually play late, doesn't make much of a difference, because I'll play like 12 hours late, so we have a good time and not doing. So generally that's how you can balance it out. All right, so this is the end of this competition. Unfortunately, no matter how hard I tried, there's no way I could go to the first place. You're about 100 space apart in terms of EP, but 250 coins add up to my earlier 350. We have 600 already, and we've roughly collected about 3,000 keys, event keys as well. So I think hopefully the next one I can exchange for legendary 4,000 keys. All right, thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Goodbye.